Hello, welcome. Today we're going to be talking about the origins of things that we do, say, and believe, and we don't really know why. So the first one I'm going to start out with is the one that shocked me the most because of how messed up it was. So we're going to start out with step on a crack, you break your mama's back. This actually originated in the 19th century, very rooted in racism. It was originally step on a crack, you'll marry a black, and step on a crack, your mama will turn black, which just shows the hatred and bias that was really happening around this time. And another, there's multiple and they're all messed up. Another is if you step on the crack leads to the underworld, and stepping on that crack, you'll invite the devil or a demon into your life and they'll haunt your family. And third one is in the 20th century, teachers used it to scare kids, saying you'll be eaten by bears at lunch if you step on a crack. I'm not sure exactly why. So that was by far the most messed up origins that I found. Number 2, bless you. People used to believe a sneeze caused someone's soul to expel from outside their body, so saying God bless you would keep your soul protected from being snatched from the devil as when your soul expels out of your body. 3, elbows on the table is rude. For earlier civilization, this rule was to prevent violence and fighting at the table. So having your elbows on the table meant you were invading someone else's space and not following these table manners. Well, who knows what else you would do. So mostly to keep fights from breaking out, which we don't really need too much these days. Unless you've got a crazy sibling rivalry happening, then maybe you need to implement that. Alright, 4, sugar makes you hyper. This one I was told so much when I was a kid. My mom would even call me Sugar Shayna because apparently I would get super hyper if I ever ate sugar. I'm not saying that sugar is a good thing because it causes a whole host of health problems, but hyperactivity isn't one of them. Its origin came from a study in the 1970s of one child when they removed sugar from their diet and then their behavior improved. And then there were over a dozen studies after that that proved the opposite. I actually found a very interesting study where they asked parents to rate their child's hyperactivity after they've had a sugary drink. But what the parents didn't know is that the drink was actually sugar-free. But they still rated their child's hyperactivity to be more than usual. 5, knock on wood. One explanation traces back to a culture such as the Celts, who believed spirits and gods resided in trees. So knocking on tree trunks would rouse the spirits and call on their protection, and also was a way of showing gratitude for the stroke of good luck that they've had. 6. Everyone died young in the Middle Ages. This is not true. It is skewed because when you take the average age at that time, there was so much infant mortality that it makes it look like people died real young, all in their 30s or something. But in reality, if you live past adulthood, most people would live anywhere between 60 and 80. 7. Raccoons will give you rabies. Yes, it can happen, but it's very rare. And, doing my research, I found that dogs account for 90% of all deaths from rabies. Didn't expect that. Approximately 120,000 animals are tested for rabies each year in the U.S., and approximately 6% of these animals are found to be rabid. And more than 20% of the raccoon population has a natural immunity to rabies. Number 8. Happy as a clam. Clams are... Okay. Sorry. So, the origin of this is that clams are happiest when the ocean is at high tide, because when there's high tide, they're protected from predation from birds. So that's where happy as a clam came from. 9. Celebrating Halloween. Why do we do it? Well, glad you asked. Trace back to the ancient Celtic festival known as Samhain, which was held on November 1st in contemporary calendars. It was believed that on that day, the souls of the dead would return to their homes, so people dressed in costumes and built bonfires in order to ward off these spirits. And number 10, break a leg. There's multiple origins for this one, but one is from ancient Greece, where the audience didn't clap, but instead stomped their feet to applaud, and if it was so good, they would stonk. They would stomp long enough to break their leg. And another one is from the Elizabethan times, when instead of applause, the audience would bang their chairs on the ground, and if they liked it enough, the leg on the chair would break. So then I guess it wouldn't even be figurative at that point. You would literally break a leg from destroying a chair. I hope you enjoyed this video. I definitely enjoyed looking into this stuff, because these are things that I always wonder when people just say stuff that they've heard and don't really think much about it.